After completing this lesson, you should be able to illustrate the difference between a type and a term, describe how the apply method works in both objects and classes, and outline how unapply works. A type is a description of a concept in an application. For example, a class is a type. A term is a concrete representation of a type. Any class instance, including an object, is itself a term. A method is also a term because it is concrete and callable. Like some other languages, Scala allows you to call a term without specifying the method you want to call on it. So for example, we noticed in the earlier session that we could create a case class time instance without using the new keyword. In this example, we have the definition of what a case class time is, and then we create a field time without using the new keyword to create the instance of time that it binds to. The question is, how did that work? When you created your case class, the compiler generated a companion object for the class for you. And it also generated an apply method inside that companion object, which is a factory for that time instance. When you call time and give it the parameters required to instantiate an instance of a time, you are actually calling the companion object time and delegating to the apply method that was created inside of it. So this is not calling the constructor of the time class directly. When you see in this first line here that we are calling time with a 9, the term that we're using is actually the companion object time, and then delegating to the apply method with whatever parameters were provided. That apply method then calls the constructor for time and creates a new instance of a time class, which is held in res0. You could do the exact same thing by explicitly calling the apply method, as you see in the next line. Apply is a very flexible concept. In this case, I've created an object reverse, and inside of it is an apply method that takes a string, reverses it, and returns that reversed representation of the string. If I call reverse hello, I never explicitly state that I want to call the apply method. However, the term I am using is the reverse object, and the apply method is delegated to because I never explicitly called a method on that term. A more clear example might be found inside of collections. In this case, I'm going to create an instance of an array with 3 values inside of it, 1, 2, and 3. This creates an array of integers. But I never explicitly said new or said any method on array. This should tell you that array has a companion object, and inside of that companion object array, there's an apply method that took the values 1, 2, 3 and created an instance of an array for me. But then in Scala, to leverage the values inside of that array, I don't use the typical square brackets to subscript the array value. In this case, I have the term result 0, and I pass to it a number, which is going to pull for me the value that exists at that subscript index. So when I say res0 and give me the first value of a 0-based array, it's going to give me the first value, which in this case is 1. Unapply deconstructs a case class. If I have a case class time, as we've seen before, and I create an instance of that time, I can then call from the companion object time the unapply method, passing in the instance of time I want to deconstruct. And from that, I get a representation of the values that are inside of the time. In this case, the hours and the minutes. Having completed this lesson, you should be able to illustrate the difference between a type and a term, describe how the apply method works in both objects and classes, and outline how unapply works.